We're going to do a quick tutorial for how to deal with your feature image for the Taylor Swift Eras Poster Remix project. So I'm just going to take LeBron here, and what I'm going to do, let me move that out of the way. I'm going to take my object selection tool, and I'll just do a box around him, get a nice selection. Even though this is a pretty high-res image, it kind of missed the hair a little bit, so I will just go in and add that in. I could use the quick selection tool maybe and just kind of hold down shift and add a little bit more there. If I really wanted to get a really nice selection, or if I was worried this wasn't very good, I could go to the select and mask, but I think this should be fine for what I have. And just add on his ear there. And a little bit of his beard. This isn't going to be perfect, but I just want to show you guys the basic tutorial here. So I'm going to mask that out. Okay, looks pretty good. And I'm overall happy with that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it into my poster. Now again, I picked a very high resolution image there, so I'll just shrink that down, place him where he's going to go, and then we're going to go through the steps. So all of the steps are laid out in the project criteria, but I know a few people there's a few that we're just kind of tricking them up a little bit, so I thought I'd just take you guys through it. First thing I want to do is I want to name this original. I just find that a little bit easier because there are a few times that you have to reference like different layers, so we're always going to talk about that as the original. Okay, so from there what we're going to do is we're just going to make him black and white. So I'm just going to go image adjustments. I could either do a black and white image adjustment where I get a little more flexibility, or I could just full out desaturate it. It doesn't really matter. I'll just desaturate it for that right there. Next thing I'm going to do is I need to duplicate that layer. So I'm going to right click it and choose duplicate. You could also hit Control J if you want it. Now I've got a copy of it. Okay. On that top copy, I'm going to change the blending mode. I'm going to go through all of these to the bottom here and go to divide, and it should turn all white. So now I've got two layers. On that top layer, okay, I'm going to go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. So I'm going to do a Gaussian blur, and now depending on the resolution of your image and everything, you decide how you want to do this. If you do too much, it won't really do anything. And if you do nothing, you're still stuck with it just being white. So I don't know, I generally say maybe around 10 or something like that. You're going to get a glow. That's fine. Really what we're trying to do is just have some of the coloring come through. So whatever you think looks good. Eventually we're going to change the color of this, but I'm pretty happy with that, around a 9.6 say. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Now I need to duplicate the original layer again. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to click OK, and I'm actually going to bring that to the very top. So you could even rename these, like this one here, you could have a little reference that this was the blur. Okay, so now I've got this guy, he's just, he's just at the front now, it's just that grayscale one. And I'm gonna add a color overlay. So when I click here, color overlay. Now what a color overlay does is it basically takes every pixel in that layer and it covers it in a solid color. Now I wanna actually choose for the color, not any of these, but I want to choose the background color that I've got right there. So I'm going to click OK, click OK. Now normally we don't like to make things permanent, but in this case we kind of have to. So what I'm going to do is a few things. I'm going to right click this and I'm going to rasterize the layer style. And what that means is instead of it having an adjustable color overlay that I can turn on and off, whenever I want, I'm going to mesh it, or I'm going to merge it with it. So I'm going to go to rasterize layer style. There we go, and it actually gets the mask off and everything. In fact, while I'm here, I might as well just apply all these masks. It's just a good habit to get into for this project. So I'm going to apply all those. All right, now on that top one right there, we are going to change the blending mode to screen. And what that's going to do is it's going to take that color and it's going to shine through all those little pieces, right? So this is what it was before, where it's just pure shades of black and white. It's a little darker now because I've got that kind of navy color. If I made this a dark red, it would be red that's coming through. So overall, I kind of like this. I think it's not bad, but there's a few more things we can do to just really clean it up. So now what we're going to do, these are all just layered on top of one another. On this bottom layer, on the original layer, let's go Image, Adjustments, Levels. And these levels are going to allow us to really fine tune it. So this is your black level, your gray level, and your white layer level. And as I kind of move these back and forth, I can kind of just get a little more of the colors coming through. So this is really just a preference at this point. And if you look at the original poster of Taylor Swift, you can see that they've just adjusted this to a point where it kind of has enough that you can recognize her, but it's still just more or less a single color that's coming through. I don't know. I like that right there. I think that looks pretty sharp. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So now more or less I've got the look. What I don't like though is the blur. Like that blur, it almost makes it look like he's glowing, and I don't really want to glow on there. So remember, it was this middle copy that was the blur. But if I turn it off, I lose that cool effect because I need all three of these layers together. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to hold down the control key and select the thumbnail. And when I do that, it's going to do I need to have the bottom layer. So when I hold down control on that original layer on the thumbnail, it does a perfect selection of just him, right? That's how it works. Control click gets you a selection. Now, if I inverse that selection by going select, inverse, now it's kind of selected everything except him, which means it's technically getting that kind of glow. So if I go on that original copy blur now, so I've changed layers, and I use my eraser right here, make it a little bigger, it will only erase that glow. I mean, if you really want to be fast, technically, you can just press the delete key and it'll delete all those pixels as well. But I'm just showing you with the eraser tool. So there, we have them like that. Looks great. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to select all three of those layers. I'm going to put them into a folder. Okay, I can even call this LeBron. And now I've got this folder. I can do whatever I want with it. By default, when you grab a layer, it selects a single layer because of this option right up here, right? You can spread them out like that. It's not what I want though. So, you do that. If you ever need to move or adjust them, what you can do is change it from your auto select from layer to group. And now when you select him, it moves them all together. I can resize, get him exactly where I want him to be. And there's that kind of nice finished version for my central image. And now I can start working on the supporting squares that go all around him. Hope that helps.